Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome in from the Channel 9 studio. This is Sports Chat with Mr. 33. I am Mr. 33. And after completely watching the totality of the college football championship, which we will get into in a second, we are going to, we're going to say congratulations to a newly crowned team. Obviously, the team last year didn't win, but we'll get into that in a second. But first, we're going to go ahead and uh, recap what happened tonight on WWE Raw. So we'll go straight into that real quick, right? So we start the evening off with Gunther coming down in his little boxing outfit and stuff like that, the little boxing stuff. He comes down and he's talking real quick. AJ comes out. AJ comes out and tells him like, "Yo, you kind of scared, homeboy." Like I'm paraphrasing, but y'all bear with me. You kind of scared. So Gunther's like, "Well, if I'm scared, well then why don't we go ahead and I'm a career killer, so put yours up." And AJ's like, I don't know, I think about it. Then he didn't give him an answer. He walks out the ring. Gunther walks out and says, "All right, well, go ahead, think about it." And to be fair to AJ, that's something that anybody would think about. But that's how we ended that segment. So it was pretty odd to see that type of match come about, or that not as well. I don't. Well, we'll talk about the match later. So the first actual match where we start with is a rematch of for Maxine Dupree as she gets a chance to win the belt back from Becky Lynch. Colton Stinson, what's going on? How you feeling? Um, Realist, what's going on with you? So the match starts. Well, before the match starts, we got a special appearance from Natalia. She's coming down to the ring, right? So Becky took control in the beginning of the match. Maxine, she takes advantage. She gains the advantage, and she tried to press slam her and do all these things. Uh, so Maxine's starting to gain the advantage. She's doing, she's showing that she's been really working. Natty over there cheering or whatever the case may be. Uh, Maddie put her in an ankle lock. She gets up out of it. Excuse me. Maxine does all this, but Becky find she finds a way out of it. Then Becky gets the advantage. Uh, then all of a sudden something crazy happens. Natalia all of a sudden gets upset and turns on Maxine Dupree. Uh, Becky hits her with the manhandle slam, gets the 3 count. Uh, Becky Lynch retains the belt. Natalia goes up there and tries to finish her off, Maxine. So that's looking like that's going to be a new storyline, or maybe this is Natalia's way to get into the Royal Rumble. I don't know, but Maxine and Natalia look like they're going to have a couple matches coming up. Maybe even that Saturday night main event. Like I said, that's what I would be predicting, but we'll find out soon. But she definitely took Maxine out, and she really tried to hurt that child. So that's how the segment ends. They couldn't get they couldn't get Natty away, but they finally got her off her, and the segment ends as Maxine's writhing in pain. Uh, the next match is Division versus Rey Mysterio, Penta, and Dragon Lee. So the Luchadors against the Brutes. That's what I called this match because it was kind of crazy. Uh, what's that? Adrian Ramirez, how you feeling? What's going on? Spurs are looking good, aren't they? Exactly. Um, they start the match off. go back and forth. The quickness of the luchadors had their advantage. Then Austin Theory finally takes control against AJ Lee. Uh, then they get a tag into Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio gets cornered by the Vision, and then they try to take advantage. They start hammering and hammering. Then they get up out of there. So the luchadors is getting flying all over the ring, getting a couple people knocked off the ropes, over the ropes. Had the Vision looking real crazy. Had him so crazy, in fact, that standing outside is Logan Paul. Logan Paul tried to throw the brass knuckles in to Austin Theory. Now, what I forgot, my fault for forgetting, but Paul Heyman was in one corner and Adam Pearce said he was coming down. He did come down. He saw the brass knuckles. He took the referee caught the brass knuckles. He said, "Yo, AJ, Austin Theory put the down." Paul Pierce, Adam Pearce. Adam Pearce goes over to Austin Theory, takes the brass knuckles. Um, then he go ahead and starts an argument with Paul Heyman. He gets so heated in the argument that he leaves the brass knuckles on the uh, on the side of the ring, not like right under the bottom rope, and so Rey Mysterio grabbed him, knocked out Austin Theory. Penta hit the Mexican Destroyer, gets the pin, get the 3 count. So the Luchadors actually defeat the Brutes that is Division. Uh, it was fast paced. The Vision really didn't look right. They don't look right without Braun Breaker. Excuse me. They just look like three regular people. It just didn't look right for them. So I didn't really, I'm glad that the Luchadors won. Obviously, they didn't have the strength to do it. That them brass knuckles even things up for them, right? So good win for the Luchadors. Rey Mysterio, uh, Penta, and AJ. Oh, sorry, I'm gonna say AJ Lee, Dragon Lee. Excuse me. So then we get to the segment where the tag champs is hyping up WrestleMania Saturday Night Main Event. The tag champion Io Sky and Rhea Ripley. So they hyping it up. Then the Judgment Day comes down. Roxanne and Liv come down, and then as they talking to Rio, that's what they call him. Rio is the abbreviation. What up, though? Shout out to my 33 brother in the chat. As they talking to Rio, which is the combination of Rhea Ripley, and Io Sky. Uh, uh, Raquel Rodriguez attacks Rhea. Then the number game came in. They start taking these people out. So they stand up above them after they punish them to make it look like they got the advantage. So I guess I know I'm presuming what that event will be like. We will be predicting this match on Friday night, but it didn't look good for the champs after they after this beatdown. Then we got El Grande Americano versus Javon Evans. Y'all know how I feel about Javon Evans. Uh, Javon Evans starts off the match very quickly. Um, they running around getting pins, little quick pins. Then all of a sudden, as he jumps, as we come back from commercial break, I'm a Ravens fan. What's up? Oh, hey, cool boy, what's going on? That's what's up. You're a Raven fan. Welcome in. As we come back from the commercial break, we see that Javon Evans is on the floor in some type of pain or something. And they called the match because Javon Evans couldn't complete this match. So I don't know what the injury is. I'm trying to find some information. We don't know if it's a concussion. We don't know if he hurt himself as far as arm, leg. We don't. There's no information out there for this situation. So we just want, they gave the match to Grande Americano, which is irrelevant right now because, well, for me it is because Javon Evans, he's one of my guys. I believe that's going to be an up and coming a star in WWE. But it's more that we got a little injury and we don't know what it is. So we hope that he gets well soon. Um, but we, like I said, they didn't really show what happened, or you know what I mean. Like they didn't like show the replay of how he got injured or when he got injured. We just seen him lying on the floor. Um, so they said it was a shoulder injury. All right, cool. Appreciate you. You probably don't want the Patriots because hold on. All right, I'll get to your comment in a second. Jorge, cool boy. Yeah. So if it's a shoulder injury, we don't know, and that's kind of gruesome because if with the Royal Rumble coming up, if he was supposed to participate in the Rumble, but now with the injury, we just don't know. Um, then we get to the main event. The main event was CM Punk versus Finn Balor. Finn Balor came out with the old school demon music. Well, not the demon music, but the crowd favorite, like he was a heel. I mean, the face again. But you know, he tried to get himself back in his groove. But they start this match off. They go back and forth. Uh, they trying to put the mat wrestling in the thing, like how they used to do front arm headlocks and stuff like that. Then they started doing striking, and then they doing all this. Then Finn Balor starts to get in control. He starts doing what Finn Balor do. He runs around and yeah, Judgment Day is still a thing. Realist, they still a thing. As a matter of fact, they trying to. Raquel is going for the belt for the world title against Stephanie Valkyria. I don't know if that's. I don't think that's Saturday night's main event. That might be a Royal Rumble thing. Um, and Liv Morgan and Roxanne is going for the tag belts at Saturday night's main event. Um, so Finn Balor hits the coup de grace. Punk gets up out of there. So Finn Balor starts to get frustrated. He don't know what to do with himself. Um, Then, a few moments later, we see Punk hit him with the GTS. Yeah, because the fellas ain't do it. The fellas ain't do it right, right? So after Punk hits him with the GTS, he gets the pin, gets the 3 count. Um, so Punk retains the belt. Uh, Punk tries to, acknowledge Finn Balor for what he did. Um, he's standing there doing all this other stuff. They celebrating, but Punk gets the win. As far as the Royal Rumble, right? We saw that. We see Bailey announces she's going in. We had a segment with Jay Uso, Mr. Yeet Man himself. He announces that he's going in to participate for the men's Royal Rumble. We got Liv and Roxanne. They announced that they're going in. I think that all the female Judgment Day, I don't announce they was going in, and Rhea said something to him in that segment, and I think that's why they jumped on him, which was crazy in itself. Uh, Bailey, yeah, Bailey's still here. Bailey here with her multiple personality self. I think I mean not Stephanie, Lyra. She announced she gonna be in there. So as we get closer, we're 2 weeks away, literally. 10 days or however many days you went. The 31st is coming, right? So we got like 10 days, 12 days to go. Now people are going to start announcing that they're in. Gunther said He gonna put himself in the what you call it. Okay, Willis, you see that little thing back there? But yeah, so we starting to see people announce them names up in there. But I'm kind of upset. Well, I'm not upset. We know that in wrestling things occur, and that injury to Javon Evans. I know he's young. I know he might be able to recuperate really, really quick, but still, it's a setback nonetheless. When you first get to the big leagues, as far as any sport, when you get there, it's like, yo, I'm ready to go. Let's go ahead and do it. Let's go ahead and, he was doing so well. He was like one of the premier signings for Raw, right? We still don't know what's going on with Obafemi, but Javon Evans was one of those guys that they were going to lean on with the luchadors, right? The quick pace, the high flying agilities and things like that. So the fact that he got injured, are they going to fight at the Rumble? Oh, okay. So that match, it did he say it's gonna? Well, I think he agreed that that's gonna be a retirement match. So I don't even know how to perceive that. You know what I mean? I don't know if they're gonna let him win, or like I said, we'll talk about that. But if that's the retirement match, we're gonna have a lot of conversation about that, because AJ is not. I don't think he's ready to retire. So I don't know if that's an easy win for Gunther. But if he doesn't win, then it destroys the career killer, the mood that he's in. You know what I'm saying? So that's going to be interesting to look at going forward. Um, right. That's what I'm saying. So it's a very interesting. It's a very interesting thing to look at. Right, and that's what I'm saying, Will, is right, because if Gunther loses to AJ, then it's like, okay, he's not no career killer, because they already talk about him. He supposedly made Goldberg retire, even though we know that was Goldberg's last match, and John Cena's last match, and you know what I'm saying. He made John Cena tap out like a bitch. That's what he's saying. That's what he's running with right now, so it's very possible that can happen. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you like the character of Gunther, but you just don't want to. You know, the crazy thing about this is we starting to see people just retire at all given times. Me personally, I don't want to see these guys retire, because going back 20 years and things like that, that's when wrestling was really picking up. It was really getting hot. You know what I mean? It was getting hot. And at TNA, they had the Bullet Club and all those dudes. And then you shoot over to WWE. You got John Cena finding his way in, Kurt Angle trying to hold it down, Edge trying to retain championships. Not Goldberg. Yeah, you had Goldberg and Brock going at, you know what I mean? Undertaker was like one of the last of the Mohicans still rocking, right? But once you see these guys retire, it was easy for the Undertaker to retire. Those of you that really followed who the Undertaker was, you know what I mean? You like, all right, this is different, man. That man was in 30 WrestleManias. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was in 30 WrestleManias. How many more can you get? That's 30 years, right? But now you're starting to see John Cena retired. You saw Goldberg; he should have been retired. No disrespect to Goldberg, but he's not a WWE guy per se. Even though he showed up and showed out, AJ's an in betweener, right? Because you followed him from TNA to the WWE and all of these things, right? So it's like, you know what I mean? But he did hold it down for a little bit, mid cards, gaining a couple titles and things like that. It just shows you how, right. That's you know what I'm saying. It's crazy how these guys is all retiring, and for an average wrestler, it's different, right? But when you've been following for all these years, right, it's like, damn, man, you seeing everybody retire. You see Cena, you see now AJ talking about or getting ready to retire. You saw Ric Flair retire. You saw Hulk Hogan retire. You seen all the greats retire, right? Even if they wasn't great, then you still got people like R-Truth still fight. You got Rey Mysterio, he's still fighting 30 years later. He might as well get one of those, you know what I mean, going away type years and something like that, right? You just seen him wrestle tonight. He's still looking like he got a little bit of gas in the tank and things like that. And like if AJ does retire, that means you really got Rey Mysterio as one of the last OGs, still wrestling. And that will be crazy. You know what I'm saying? Whether he's in AAA or, representing AAA or whatever the case may be. But when you start seeing these guys retire, you close your eyes like, damn, I remember when I don't think people remember Rey Mysterio didn't always wear a mask. You see what I'm saying? That's how far back Rey Mysterio goes. You see what I'm saying? I still remember. I still remember when Rey Mysterio jumped into Kevin Nash arms. Hey, Kevin Nash threw that nigga on the trail like boom. I'm like, oh, you know what I'm saying? And like I said, that was NWO, the beginning of NWO time. That was like 95. 30, that's 30 years. You see what I'm saying? But now you're starting to see, the hopes of the Javon Evans, the Carmelo Hayes, the I don't know when they bringing back Montez, or you know what I mean, Obafemi. They starting to bring all these new guys up. So now you got to really, really pay attention to what's going on with these young guns, because the question is, is it going to be in good hands? How are they going to make these guys last the way that they made, the John Cena's and the AJ Styles and all of these other guys? How they gonna make them last like that? You know what I mean? Like just tonight, the Javon Evans injury, right? He's just got there. He's already injured. You know what I mean? We don't know for how long, if it's a shoulder, as my 33 brother just uh put me on to. We don't know, right? So, you know, a lot of these guys, Trick Williams, you know what I mean? We got variety, right? We got the lucha, we got the high flyers, we got the strength guys, Obafemi, uh, 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 Trick Williams. We still got Braun Breaker. We still got, you know what I mean, Bronson Reed. You know what I mean? And then look at the older guys that's still there, right? You got people don't really know, but Jay, the Usos has been in there for a minute. Trini, Naomi been there for a minute. Roman, all of these guys have been there for a while now on the roster since like 2008, 2009, and a little bit higher. So it's a different thing to see these guys talking about retirement and things like that. But they want to, like AJ said in a press conference or on a podcast, excuse me. He wants to leave on his terms. Like, I can do this and get up and walk away from this thing, not to be battered and bruised. They have families too. You know what I mean? Some people want to be around and play with their grandkids, run around and not be hobbling to run around with their grandkids. You know what I'm saying? So it's something to think about for the fan. Fans can be selfish. You know what I mean? We can be selfish. We don't want to see the OGs go. We don't want to see the good ones go. But in all reality, and in due time, Father Time, he can't be beat. These guys are going to step away from it unless you want to be like Ric Flair and try to talk about you wrestling at 74 and 75. Nah, these guys trying to live life. You know what I mean? It's just the dynamics of remembering how young AJ Styles was and now how old he is leaving, right? And people like that, we still got like the Miz. Miz too, he's up there in age too. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I beat John Cena at WrestleMania moment. That was like 2010. You know what I'm saying? That's damn near 16 years ago. You know what I mean? So those are the people that's remaining from like the mid card 2010s and stuff like that. So it's definitely rough to see these guys talking about retirement. But if they feel like they are in good hands, then they are in good hands. Gunther being the ultimate villain and stuff like that. Braun Breaker, he running rampant right now. He's supposed to be coming back next Monday to have a conversation with Adam Pearce. So we'll find out what happens after that. That's after Saturday night's main event. Um, but that's for him to also prepare himself to obviously get into the Royal Rumble. That's one thing I know for sure. He will. I know he'll be in the Royal Rumble. He has to be, because other than that, we still need more participants, right? And we got to hear from the SmackDown guys this coming Friday. Some more people will probably announce their name for that. Excuse me. So we'll find out more. But you know, it was like I said, that match. To be honest with you, it took me for a loop because I'm like, damn, if he retires, if he loses, he's out in January. He won't even get the Royal Rumble round. He won't get the whole year thing like John Cena or WrestleMania moment. It won't be a WrestleMania moment because he retired. You see what I'm saying? And when things like that happen, it just don't sit right? Because you just leave like, I don't know, maybe there's an underlying injury. Maybe he just ready to go because he's just ready to go. I don't know, but that's why we gotta wait to see the match. You know what I mean? We gotta see what happened with the match. What's the result gonna be? So on and so forth. But that is gonna be a big match that will have people tuning in. That's because like I said, he's one of those guys that all right, George, cool boy. I appreciate you. I'm about to answer your question in a minute, so just stay in the background. Um, so that type of thing is kind of question. It's kind of sad. So let me answer this man's question before he goes. I think he asked me who's going to the Super Bowl. Uh, the Super Bowl, Jorge. Uh, I'm going to go with. It's kind of early. I was going to do it Friday, but for you, I'm gonna just go ahead and say it. I'm probably going to go with the. I'm gonna go with the Rams and the Patriots because Denver lost their starting quarterback. Um, Bo Nix is out for the rest of the year, and Seattle just lost their running back Charbonnet. So I'm just gonna pick Earl. For you. I'm just gonna throw those two teams out: Rams, Patriots. Uh, Patriots with the no. I'm sorry. The Rams with the victory. They're gonna redeem themselves from the 13-3 Super Bowl loss. That's what I'm gonna go with. So that's how I answer your question real quick. Uh, nah, you good. You good because now I have to, I have to. Well, quickly, I'm gonna talk about what happened today. So, also in the NFL, since we on the subject of the NFL, we found out that oh my God, McDermott got fired from the Buffalo Bills, right? And I should have spoke about this yesterday, but here's the deal, right? Josh Allen, in my opinion, didn't do enough for him to maintain his job, right? Because all we heard coming into the to this playoffs is this is Josh Allen's time. There is no Patrick Mahomes to stop him. There is no Lamar Jackson to stop him. He lost to Bo Nix. He lost the first time of Bo Nix. You know what I mean? Yeah, he just signed with the Giants. I'll talk about that in a minute too. Um, so because Josh Allen he came up short yet again. You know what I mean? The pass interference and all that. You can blame whoever you want. The fact of the matter is the Buffalo Bills had the greatest opportunity. They already defeated the AFC South champions, which was the Jacksonville Jaguars. Even in that game, it was a struggle. He had to do, they're gonna say Herculean efforts, right? But here's the thing: did we really understand that Doug McDermott, the coach? I said Doug McDermott. That's a basketball player, I think. McDermott is a defensive coordinator, a defensive guy. This guy's giving up 30 points every time, right? You saw the 33-30 to Jacksonville. Now we see it again and to the Broncos, right? You can't keep giving up 30 points and be a defensive coordinator and think they're going to keep rocking. The offense was doing enough. You had the NFL. You led the NFL in rushing. You had the number one running back. Your running back was the number one guy as far as rushing yards. All you had to do was hold that down. All you had to do was make sure the defense don't give up 30 points. 17 to 20 points, yeah, that's something different. That's your specialty. You a defensive guy. Now all of a sudden you can't stop a nosebleed because you don't have the pressure to do nothing. You can't hold it down. So it's sad that you had to go 9 years, and you know what I mean. You had 9 years, and you probably had majority of them with Josh Allen. But maybe it's time for a new idea. Maybe they'll hire Joe Brady, the offensive coordinator, you know, to take over and keep the and get a new defensive coordinator. I don't know. They might steal somebody from Baltimore. I don't know what they're gonna do, but it's just time for a new start. And it wasn't like the Bills was losing; they was winning every time. If you notice, we know three coaches that left their teams and they were winning coaches, right? Harbaugh for the Ravens, even though they fired him. Well, that's what they say. He got his 5 year deal, $100 million for the Giant from the Giants, right? Then you got Tomlin. Tomlin never had a losing season. He decided to chill out for a quick. We don't know if he's coming back to coaching or not. And now we got McDermott. McDermott was he won six AFC titles in a row before this year. New England came and took over, right? So when you got these guys and you have a winning record, I think these owners, man, they said fuck this winning shit. We need to win it all, right? We don't need to do the one and out, the first round and out, the second round. I need to get to the top. You see what I'm saying? So they gotta figure out guys. That's who's gonna do this. Now we seen there's a couple hirings, right? Miami just hired somebody today. I think he's the defensive coordinator of the Dolphins, and they hired him, right? Jeff Hadley, right? They hired him as the head coach for the Dolphins. So that's three of the 10 positions now. They fired one guy, they fired McDermott, and the Dolphins hired somebody. So we still got 8 positions left, or 7 positions left, right? To figure out. We know Stefanski's in Atlanta. Stefanski has a great opportunity um to revamp that offense. If he got to, like I said yesterday, he has to figure out what quarterback do he want. Does he want Michael Penix? Do he want Kirk Cousins? Will they go out and draft? We don't know, right? But he's supposed to be a quarterback guru. So I know this much. I know the Penix to Drake London was looking real good for a second because Drake London, it was supposed to be Kyle Pitts first, but Drake London came and took that over. And you got the running back Bijan Robinson. For those of you that is into football, you guys stay tuned. This channel, we're going to be doing a free um, fantasy league. So if you want to join up, just put it on the com or the pages in the comment, and we'll update you when we'll start. We'll dive more into this in July, right? Right before the training camp or the preseason rather. So that way we can all have the opportunity to scout and see what we need to do. But there will be a fantasy league this upcoming season, the 26-27 season. You know what I mean? So you guys stay tuned, join up. Last year, I'll take the responsibility. We supposed to do one last year. I didn't get it out there in time. That's on me. Me being the rookie that I was, I didn't get it out there in time. So I don't mind saying that, but we're definitely going to have one this year. So you guys stay tuned because it's always easy for somebody to say, well, they need to do this, this, and this. Now we can see if we know what we're talking about because we'll be building our team. We'll see. We got to play the opponents. We got to know who we're going to start or sit down and things of that nature. So I'm super excited about that. But it's definitely a thing. So we're gonna find out some more names. They're gonna wait. You know how that goes. They wait to the end of the season to see the hottest name as far as the offensive defensive coordinators of the Super Bowl winning team or things like that. I'm pretty sure Robert Sala is going to get some recognition for trying to hold the 49ers defense down with what he had. You know what I mean? even though they got shellacked 41-6 this weekend. But because he got them to that second round, because he got them to be a little relevant because they had 12 wins in spite of losing Fred Warner and things like that, he'll get some calls as well. Uh, I don't know about Brian Flores. I think the league is going to hit him because they tried to sue them before. You know what I mean? If anything, if I had my way, I would say, you know what, Brian Flores, go to the Steelers. They may look out for you. They don't be with the nonsense. You know what I mean? And then you young enough, they might get another 10, 15 years out of you if you do what you need to do. If you stick it up, they'll probably get rid of you. But that'll be the only spot that I can see Brian Flores going to is the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Steelers. But anybody else, I don't know. The internet said also Lamar Jackson to Miami Dolphins. Nah, I can't see that. That'll probably be next year because they're giving Lamar Jackson some pull into who he wants to hire, who they want to hire as the Baltimore Ravens coach. The CEO, Shadi already said, Lamar, if you're gonna do this, you gotta fly your ass up here like I gotta fly my ass up here. If you want to be a part of this, you got to be a part of this. You can't half step, you can't sugarcoat it, nothing. If you a part of this, let's go ahead and make this happen. Right? So I don't think he's going to the Dolphins. Uh I can't see it, but it's kind of crazy. Also, the Buffalo Bills, they was saying somebody like Brian Daboll, the former Giants coach. He's from Buffalo. He's from that area, so they might do a hometown thing to where they just give the dude from the hometown a shot of coaching. It wasn't, but I don't, and they also said that he was a part of Josh Allen's development, so they might give him a shot. Those are two names that Joe Brady and Brian Daboll. Those are two names to look out for as far as the Buffalo Bills. Everywhere else, is you gotta pay attention because, like I said, there's going to be numerous names. Like I said, Salah, uh, things like that. Also, it's being rumored that the Kansas City Chiefs is trying to bring back Eric Bieniemy, right? Because Eric Bieniemy left the Chiefs to go ahead and try to get an offensive coordinator. He ain't get a call yet as far as trying to be a coach. You know what I'm saying? And he's part of the reason why the dynasty is in Kansas City. That's what they say. But they also try to say it wasn't him, it was Andy Reid. So that's another name to look out for if he gets called. But I won't be shocked if they go back to if he goes back to Kansas City. And if he goes back, I think Kelsey will not retire. I think he'll stay for another year to see how that works and see what they can do with that. So that's an interesting thing to look at going forward as well. Um, but yeah, that's the gist of it from the NFL. Like I was kind of shocked because this was like 9:30 ish in the morning that they fired McDermott. So I was like, damn, that's kind of crazy. Uh, they usually don't do that type of stuff. Um, so we got the weekend to look forward for. We got the weekend to look forward to this Sunday, anyhow. Um, so that's a lot. That's about the gist of it. Um, Turning to college football real quick. Congratulations to the Indiana Hoosiers as they defeat the Miami Hurricanes 27-21 to win the national championship and to remain undefeated. It's been a while since we had, well, not really a while. It's been a few years since we had 14-0 or undefeated record, right? Miami did it had a shot, but Carson Beck, he threw that interception, and at the end, with 45 seconds to go, underthrowing his receiver, and Indiana picked it off and took a knee after that and get to win 16-0. I said 14, 16-0 because they won the two playoff games. So excuse me. So congratulations. But the kid AJ Mendoza, he he didn't really wow it, right? I think he was hold on, let me show you what I'm talking about. Let me show y'all what I'm talking about real quick. Are we up? Nope, not yet. Add to the screen. So you see Carson Beck. Carson Beck was 19 of 32, 232 yards, one touchdown, one interception. Uh, Mark Fletcher, the Miami running back, he had 112 rushing yards, including a 57-yard touchdown run, and he had two touchdowns on 17 carries. The Malachi Tony kid, listen, the way he played, I won't be surprised if he'll be not a top receiver, but he might be an end of the first round receiver, maybe a second round, no later than the third round, because he caught a lot of passes, and he was like Devin Hester esque. If anybody remembers who that is, and he led the team with receptions with 10 catches for 122 yards with one touchdown. That's the only touchdown that they had as far as throwing the ball. So that was him. But going to Fernando Mendoza, he was only 16 of 27, 186 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. Uh, this was more like running and things like that. They had one rushing touchdown. The tight end ran that in. Uh, Somebody recovered the punt for the touchdown. They blocked the punt and recovered in the end zone for another touchdown. So that's the 14 points there. And then it was just like that. So uh, this was something, Mendoza, he did not help himself. He's the Heisman Trophy winner, but as you can see by these numbers, but Miami they was on him. When I say they was on him, they was pressuring him. They rush was ferocious. So he did just about enough. He did rush for a touchdown himself, Mendoza, diving over the pylon. I mean, diving or breaking tackles by the goal line to get that touchdown. So, that's just the way, that's not NFL type thing. So I won't be surprised if his name drops after this game. So, that's just the way I seen it, my view of a thing. But I'm not Mel Kiper. You know what I'm saying? So y'all just that's what I saw. And the number one, I don't know who the number one quarterback gonna be. We know the kid from Oregon decided to stay in, go back to college. So we don't know who's going to be the top picks. But that's what Mel Kiper and them is for. We'll have those conversations in April. Um, so now we just going to go ahead and look at some of these NBA scores. Uh, it was a few games on Martin Luther King Day. Uh, we'll start in Atlanta, his hometown, where the Hawks played they hosted the Bucks, and the Bucks get a 2-point victory at the end. Uh, the Bucks go to 18 and 24 with the win. The Atlanta Hawks go to 20 and 25. Uh, in DC, the Wizards hosted the Clippers, and the Clippers get a 110 to 106 victory. With that win, the Clippers go to 19 and 23. With the loss, the Wizards go to 10 and 32. In Cleveland, the Cavs hosted the world champion Thunder. The Thunder 136. The Cavaliers 104. The Thunder go to 36 and 8. The Cavs with the loss go to 24 and 20. Oh God, atmosphere. He gonna get me for this one. In New York, the Knicks hosted the Mavs. The Mavs had a 114 and 97 win. With the win, the Mavs go to 18 and 26. With the loss, the Knicks go to 25 and 18. In San Antonio, the Spurs hosted the Utah Jazz. The Spurs 123. The Jazz 110. The Spurs go to 30 and 13. Utah falls to 14 and 29. In Brooklyn, the Nets hosted the Suns. The Suns got a 126 to 117 win. Uh, Phoenix go to 26-17 with the win, and Brooklyn goes to um, 12-29. In Philly, the 76ers hosted the Pacers. The Pacers the Pacers lose to the Sixers 113-104. With the win, the 76ers go to 23-18. The Pacers go to 10-34. This game looked like it needs to be updated. Uh, so I'm gonna go to the final game. That was finished. Good game in Detroit. The Pistons hosted the Celtics, the 1 and 2 seeds in the conference. Detroit gets the 104-103 victory. With that win, Detroit goes to 31-10, and the Celtics go to 26-16. Is this a final? Let me click on this to see if this is a final or not. No, they're still playing. Okay, so this game is still going with about 3 minutes and 54 seconds in the fourth. Golden State hosted Miami. Golden State with a 127-103 lead. I might as well look since I'm here. That wasn't my intention, but Norman Powell leads them with 21 points. Wait, who's leading Golden State? Brandon Brzezinski leads Golden State with 24. Steph got 11 assists, 19 and 11. Uh, Bam only got 12 rebounds. So those are the scores that is right now. They just scored, so it's 105 to 127. Let me see if they got the headlines for you. The NBA also announced their All Star starters. Uh, why they don't have it up here? But I got it. So as I reported on the page, the NBA All Star starters are as such from the Eastern Conference. You got Cade Cunningham, Jalen Brunson from the New York Knicks, Tyrese Maxey from the 76ers, Jaylen Brown from the Celtics, and Giannis Antetokounmpo from the Bucks. Those are your starting five from the East. The West is going to be Steph Curry from the Warriors, SGA, Shea Gilgeous Alexander, uh, from the Thunder, Luka Doncic. Wait, let me see if I said that right. Luka Doncic from the Los Angeles Lakers, Victor Wembanyama, and Nikola Jokic. Those are your starting the five starters from the East and West. Now, for those of you that don't know the format is going to be All Star A, All Star B, and oh well, look at that! The breaking news. Shout out to my co-host, my 33 brother, Robert Salah is supposed to be working on a deal with the Titans. So hey, who knows? He, you know, he got a nice young quarterback coming out of that. Uh, well, he hurt his shoulder at the end of the season, so we'll see what happens. But going back to the NBA All Star, the NBA All Star team is going to be the group consisting of one the USA versus the world, like the hockey format that they started last year. And I think they're going to have 8 players on the world team, uh, and I guess they're going to have one. Each team is going to have eight players on the team. I don't know if that's true or not. I mean, I have to do more research on that. I don't like the way they formatted it in the first place. So it's just I really don't like it. So it's kind of crazy that they. So we'll get some more when I get some more information on that. I'll go ahead and pass it along because I'm still trying to understand if that's going to be the because Giannis is not from the United States. Jokic is not from the United States. Shea Gildas Alexander is not from the United States, and Victor Wembanyama is not from the United States. So is that the four of the players that's going to the roster? So now they got to pick another. They got to pick the rest of the teams, right? And then they got to pick some more world players, and then they got to pick some more NBA players. To me, they're gonna stretch the world players out because it's very rare that they get eight. I don't want to say Europeans, but 8 world players, right? If they from France or Yugoslavia, wherever they from, it's hard for them to pick up 8, right? So somebody like a Laura Mark, I don't even know if Laura Markman is from it's not from the United States. You know what I mean? And if they go with somebody, even though what's this boy name? The center on 76ers. I forgot his name. Joel Embiid. He played with the USA, so don't know if they're gonna put him down for the team, right? So it's gonna be very interesting how this looks going forward. They probably do the draft, the final players with by the at least by the right around the Super Bowl time. They'll probably pick the reserves and guys like that to finish out the NBA. The NBA Pro Bowl. I'm sorry, the NBA Pro Bowl. The NBA All Star team. So it's a unique way to look at it. You know what I mean? Being a basketball fan, I'm gonna try to rock with it. Traditions are made to change, right? You can start your own tradition. The NBA is starting their own tradition. They going with USA versus the world or Team USA versus the world. Whoever wins between the Team USA uh, Group A, Group B is going to play the world team, and that's how you get to that point. Um, so it's something new. I don't. You, I sound flustered because I am flustered, right? Because I'm not understanding what they're going to do with this. They tried it last year with CBA plus the US. I mean G League guys, and that left a bad taste. Some people didn't even want to play. They say LeBron could have played, but he didn't play. And this is the first year that LeBron ain't even been chosen as a starting All Star player in his career, right? So it's just going to show you things are changing, people are changing. The people want to see new things and things like that. But a traditionalist ain't going to want to see something new. You know what I mean? So it's very different to sit there and really say how it's going to go. We have to wait and see. And that's just the way we got at it. But shout out to my 33 brother, man. My 33 brother, he's feeling a little better. He will be on tonight. The word himself. I didn't even see. I just got an alert. I just heard it in my ear. So it's good to see he's back up and at it, man. We was worried about him a little bit. He was under the weather. You know what I mean? So as long as he comes back and be himself, y'all guys are in for a treat. For those of you that are not subscribed to him, check him out. He'll be on at 12:45 Eastern. Um, and that's what we going with. You know what I mean? So y'all go ahead and check him out. But as far as the sports itself, I missed Unrivaled. Did Unrivaled even play today? Unrivaled is the girl league. I didn't watch none of it. I ain't gonna lie to you. I was intrigued by this game. I wanted to see if this Fernando Mendoza was the guy that they was talking about. He didn't really show up for me per se. The guy that showed up for me was the kid, the wide receiver Tony. He was running punch back. He was catching little wide receiver screens and taking it 20, 25 yards down, 15 here, 5 here, 7 there. He caught 10, like I said, he caught 10 passes for 122 yards. His name was I seen him actually when they played, I forgot who they played before they got here. but he helped them secure that victory to get to this point in the season. So I think his, like I said earlier, I think his stock is going to rise. So I would not be surprised if it do. But you know, now that the college football season is over, they're going to focus more on the basketball side. Y'all know what it is. When you get towards the end of January, you're going to start having uh conference tournaments, things like that. Then you're going to have the field of 68, and then y'all know in March is Final Four time. So they're getting ready for that. Uh, so college basketball, we'll probably talk about that. I don't really watch it until like the tournaments, the conference tournaments, because it's too many teams to really focus on, right? So, you know, like I can't even hold you. I don't even know who the number one seed is right now. I know Michigan is doing good. I see UConn is still trying to be relevant. Uh, I know Kansas is not doing well. You know what I mean? I know the basics, but I don't know. I wasn't following it per se. I would usually wait to like the beginning, right after the Super Bowl, because that's when everything starts to pick up. So I tell you this much: after that Super Bowl, I can tell you who's doing what conference is going to represent. It'll be the Big East, the Big Ten, uh, 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 ACC. I don't, I mean, I have been watching a couple of games. Like I see Carmelo's son playing well. I see Carlos Boozer' son who plays at Duke. He's doing all right. You know what I mean? So, like I said, once the conference tournaments start kicking in, I will be able to be a better not a judge of character, but I could better see who's doing what and how. You know what I mean? So, but this is all about the pickup. You know what I mean? Because like I said, once this Super Bowl is over, what was it, February 8th? Everything going to find itself available. Uh, uh, College basketball. By that time, they be talking about pitches and catches be heading towards to the Cactus League in the West and down to Florida in the East. And basketball be revving up for the playoffs. The NBA be revving up for the playoffs. So we still got things to talk about besides what we talked about tonight, wrestling and things like that. We'll have some football to talk about. I mean, excuse me, we'll have some basketball to talk about. After the All Star break is really when you pay attention because that's when teams start making trades and things like that to better their rosters. And there's a couple of teams that's not playing well right now. Then we starting to see teams like the Boston Celtics start to play a little bit better. I know a lot of us didn't have them ranked high because Tatum ain't there, but Jalen Brown is doing enough to make those guys relevant. That's why he was named a starter. Well, the fans picked those, so you know he's being recognized as top notch player by the fans, and probably getting a little bit more respect from the coaches. But that's another story for another day. But you know, it's like I said, there's so much to talk about going forward. We will be ready for it. Um, so heading towards Friday, I still haven't decided if I'm gonna do a game this week. I should. I don't know. I'll probably like do something. Maybe pick a game and post it about a half hour before the game starts, and then do it from there. But I got to talk to the nine community, see what the schedule looking like because I support wherever I'm at. You know what I'm saying? So I'll talk to them and figure out where we're gonna go from here. But we still got Friday going on. We'll talk about SmackDown. We'll talk about what's going on with we'll probably get some more information from Cody and Jacob Fatu head into the Saturday night main event match. We'll probably hear from Drew McIntyre talking smack like he about that. He'll probably be at Saturday night's main event. Probably putting somebody he don't want in there to start. Um, we'll probably hear from we'll probably see Jay Cargill and things like that. But my 33 brother just started. Like I said, for those of you that don't, y'all click on his thing. Go ahead and check him out, and I'll be heading over there very, very shortly. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna wrap this up just to go show some support to my co-host, my 33 brother, the word. Um, but we'll be doing all of that. We'll talk about some NBA scores. We'll do some more talking about the NFL predictions, things like that. As far as the conference championships, I've already, gone on record because anything can happen by Friday, right? They might say Sam Darnold is out, or something happened to Matthew Stafford. Knock on wood, you know what I mean? So I like to go through the week before just picking, right? Because I know this much. I definitely not pick. I can't. The only way that I'm going against the Patriots if Drake May is out because I don't know who their backup is. We know that the Broncos is starting. Uh, oh God, what's his name? He played for the Patriots. Stidham. Stidham was the backup quarterback for the Patriots. He's going to start for Bo Nix because Bo Nix was injured. He broke his ankle this weekend. So I'm not picking them at all. So but I don't know. I might do scores on Friday. I'm so mad I missed that Rams game. I picked 21-17. They won 20-17. I picked the week before I forgot what I picked. It was the Bears game. I picked 31-27. The Bears would beat whoever they played in the first round. I forgot the Packers. I picked that. I clipped it, and I was so excited. I clipped it and put it as a short. So I just I'm trying to be as accurate as I can. I'm trying to be as consistent as I can, just to show people that we do talk about sports and we have these type of conversations here, and everybody's welcome. We can speak about it. Shout out to Jorge, for asking the questions. You know, Jorge, cool boy. It's cool that when you ask questions, it keeps the conversation going. You know, but this was a pretty good live, y'all. I appreciate everybody coming through. The scores and stats were brought to you by the 9%, where better you is a better us. Like I said, I'll be back Friday. Shout out to those that came through. The word, of course, my 33 brother realist, Jorge's cool boy. Appreciate you showing up. I think somebody else showed up earlier. I forgot. I'm going through the chat right now, y'all. Bear with me. Not you all. Adriel, is that Adriel Ramirez? Shout out to him. He's a big Spurs fan. And Colton Stinson. Shout out to you. Right? So shout out to everybody that came through. Shout out to everybody that caught the replay. Shout out to everybody that's going to hear this live. So with that being said, from the Channel 9 studio, this is Mr. 33 signing off. Y'all go ahead and click over to my 33 brother, The Word. He's live in full effect. And I'll see y'all over there. I'll see you guys Friday.